I would categorise the risks into a few different buckets. I think first, there's the socioeconomic risk from the large-scale societal shifts that the technology will bring. And that's often what technology does. That doesn't mean you should stand in the way of it, but it just needs to make sure that we're cognizant of it and provide people with the skills they need to flourish in a world that is being changed by technology. I think the second is the risk of misuse. And that is, whether it's open source models or otherwise, the ability that they can be used as tools to generate misinformation or identify and exploit cyber vulnerabilities or create harmful content or deep fakes or child sexual abuse. That's the kind of second category. I think the third category would be tool use, whereby foundation models can be used to activate capabilities in the real world. And then the last category is what people would describe as capability overhangs. And that kind of trends into the area of more existential risk because there's just a lack of understanding at this point about what the potential of these models might be. Now, obviously separate to all of that, there are national security risks, which I'm sure the Honourable Gentleman acknowledged. I appreciate I'm limited in what I can say, but I think thinking about it in those four categories is probably the right way to go about it.
Thank you. And you've convened an international safety summit for the autumn. Are you intending that to be a summit of like-minded countries like the US and Japan, perhaps? Or is it for all countries, a bit like the International Atomic Energy Authority that includes countries like China and Russia? What do you have in mind?
I think in the first instance, mainly what we're trying to do is acknowledge that there is a global dimension to this challenge. And AI doesn't respect national borders. Countries are at varying stages of their thinking about how we can put guardrails in place to make sure that we can realise the benefits of AI in a way that's safe and secure. And it seems a sensible and reasonable step to just try and bring some of those countries together to talk about these problems in a collective forum, because ultimately there will need to be some coordination. Sure. So I think it's quite early thinking. As I said, it's more just about bringing people together.
So all countries together?
Well, it's just bringing people together who are thinking about these things in a similar way, to exchange ideas, share information. As I said, because AI doesn't respect national borders, and I think we will all benefit from hearing and talking to each other in a conversation with the businesses themselves. And I think that is really what this is about. I think we're a long way from anyone establishing a AIA, IAA equivalent for AI. Those things are long into the distance. But in the first instance, just talking through this with like-minded countries.